Well, it can be exhausting trying to keep up with the political news cycle as we steam towards a federal election, and some light relief is always welcome, especially when it comes in the form of political satire.
Indeed, and our next guest is one of our finest proponents of that particular genre, known for skits such as this.
Did you ever imagine that the record-breaking announcement would be a 20-cent discount on a litre of petrol?
Look, I mean, if I'm honest, I was probably expecting something slightly more nation-building, you know, a treaty with Indigenous Australia or plan for dealing with China. But let's not forget, when you haven't had a wage increase in 5 years, a 20-cent discount feels like a lot. You know, that's can-do capitalism right there.
Yeah, but 20 cents, I mean, come on, Coach.
Well, just hang on, OK? With that 20 cents, it's now cheaper to drive to the second job that you had to take to support your rental income. So, pretty great outcome for the fans.
Musician, comedian and ABC Radio Melbourne breakfast host Sammy J joins us this morning from, I want to say, a bathhouse in Tokyo, Japan. Am I close, Sammy?
Solomon Islands, actually. I thought someone should get over here. So I'm just keeping an eye on things, but I hope you can hear me okay from back there in Australia.
We can, you're coming through loud and clear. Shuttle diplomacy, can't say too much. Sammy, you've been back on stage for the first time in a couple of years with shows in Melbourne and Canberra. You're heading to Sydney next. I kind of freak out if there are more than 3 people on the train. How do you feel with hundreds and hundreds of people, you know, laughing at your face?
Well, look, it makes a change because at primary school they were laughing at me. Now, hopefully they're laughing with me. But it has been a very long 2 years. This is finishing the tour that I started pre-pandemic. So I really clearly remember the last time on stage at the Adelaide Fringe Festival 2020 when everything was being cancelled. So this is, it's actually been really lovely getting back and just remembering what I used to do because, like so many live performers, it's been a very long time between drinks.
Yeah, and you've been sort of sequestered away in that little ABC radio studio for a bit as well. I mean, kind of not great timing. I assume that these sort of, you know, live shows are all kind of the timing's locked in, and then somebody turns around and calls a federal election. This must mean you're juggling a bit right now.
Yes, it's a busy time for us political nerds and satirists. I was very lucky because Government Coach was up in Canberra I was doing my shows while when the Prime Minister went to Yarralumla to call the election, so I was able to get there and photobomb and multitask. But no, it's a busy time. It's an exciting time. You know, got the kids together to watch the debate the other night. That was always a great time in the J household.
Now, tell me, I mean, I know that kind of dissecting comedy is a little bit like dissecting frogs. You tend to kill it in the process. But when you're, you know, coming up with ideas for a character like Coach or the play school character or the yoga instructor, is there a formula there, and how do you decide which one of these people is going to kind of deliver the gag?
There really isn't, and you know, I wish there was. We'd all be successful political satirists if so. But I think I benefit in Australia from the great tradition we have of making fun of our leaders and taking the piss. And you know, there are so many people doing wonderful work right now. You know, you've got Mark Humphries every couple of weeks. You've got Sean McAuliffe, and for me, and it's always the case of just trying to think of an idea that might not be being done by someone else. So it's a constant challenge to take the same source material but try to be original or try and surprise viewers, because comedy and political comedy stops being funny once people can spot the punchline coming. So that's why for me, whether it's jumping into a character or doing a song or something different, that if I'm finding it interesting and fun, then hopefully viewers will as well.
You kind of inherited that Thursday night comedy spot on ABC TV after the death of John Clark. When taking over a role associated with, even though it's a very different kind of segment, different time than it used to be with Clark and Dore at certain times in their run, was there pressure on you to be one thing or another, or you know, or to not do that interview format? Did that affect you at all?
There was no external pressure. ABC have been really wonderful. In fact, I suspect ABC don't even know the show is on. You know, but I just sort of put a little USB stick into the broadcast TV every Thursday. But no, they've been really hands off. I think internally, myself and my co-writers, Chris McDonald and James Pender, we work really hard to make sure that we're doing something unique. And so the idea of trying to be Clark and Dore is an absurd proposition. So we steered away from that. These days, because it's our 5th year now, I think we feel more confident that we can do an interview sketch if we want. People won't say, oh, he's just ripping them off, because you know, I think people, as John Howard always said, like me or loathe me, they know where I stand.
Do you like this sort of triple threat career you've got, or quadruple threat career, or do you prefer? Are you happier when you're composing music or just sitting ad-libbing in a radio studio? Is there something that kind of feels like this is what I really like?
Oh, I love variety. I love being challenged and having a project. I probably bored it on times at taking on too much. You know, when they did call the election, I thought, oh, wow, okay, goodbye, kids. I'll see you in a month or so. But honestly, being on stage, I think, is where I am most comfortable. So doing this show and this tour is a lovely reminder of what I spent, 10 years or 15 years on the live circuit, trying to work out how to write funny songs and perform them. That's where I'm most comfortable. So that's what's really exciting about this particular tour. But no, I think, John, variety is the spice of life. Just try and do a bit of everything and try and improve as you go.
Nice tip. Let's have a quick look at some of that musical musing.
A man is sleeping under eucalyptus trees. The sky is now his ceiling. The grass is now his bed. His face is kind of pale. His eyes are rolled back in his head. I try to shake him. It doesn't wake him. And I try not to get my hopes up, but I think I found a dead guy in the park. What a thrill, 'cause now I get to call the police. Triple O, here we go. What is your emergency? I'm glad you asked. I found a dead guy in the park.
Sammy J live in concert. Sammy J live on your television this morning as well. I wonder, Sammy, when we're covering the news of this federal election campaign, we have to keep assiduous notes. As we had 2 minutes of Josh Frydenberg, yet 2 minutes of Tanya Plibersek. We have to balance it. Do you have to balance satire? Do you have to be an equal opportunity satirist?
It's a great question, because within the ABC, the work that I do, it comes under entertainment, which some would question,
Sure.
not news. And so it's so there's no legal responsibility, and I have always maintained that it's currently a coalition government, so of course they're the target of most of my jokes because they're the ones in power. If that changes, it will become the ALP or whoever else is in charge. But on a personal level, of course I do, because I don't want people associating me with one side or the other. So I like to try and reach as many different targets as I can. So that's more just an artistic integrity question, but not, as far as I know, a legal question. Although when my phone rings from Ida Buttrose, I'll tell you otherwise.
Indeed do. Well, enjoy the rest of your live show. You've got a show coming up at the Enmore Theatre in Sydney. Do you know if there are any tickets available?
There are indeed. It's a massive theatre. It's happening on Saturday the 30th, and I can't wait to finally get back there to the City of Dreams.
Great to see you, Sammy J. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, guys.